Hi, this is Melissa with A Creative Journey with Melissa, and today I'm going to show you, we have 3 new releases, and we are also participating in the Spring Coffee Lovers blog hop this week. So it is a busy, busy week for the creative crew and obviously A Creative Journey with Melissa. So what I'm going to start off with is I'm going to show you a creation that I made with the new stamp set, and I think it's fantastic. It is Angels with Autism. This is the card right here. I'm actually gonna, let's see, I'm gonna put a little piece of red paper behind it so you can see it maybe a little bit better, see the creation a little bit better. There you go. So it's hard to see white on white there. But at any rate, this is the card I made. I used Chameleon markers. Not only did I use Chameleon markers to color the image here, but I also used Chameleon markers to darken my rhinestones here, and I will be doing that in this tutorial, so you'll be able to see me do that. Okay, it's really simple, it's great. If you just buy clear rhinestones or clear embellishments, and you can color your own, especially with the Chameleon markers, because they work fantastically. Anyway, so this here is one of the images on the new stamp set, as is the thank you. I will show you that stamp set right now, actually. I'll get that out for you. This is the stamp set. It is Angels with Autism, and if you check out our website, you'll be able to read where the funds go, a percentage of the funds go for this stamp set. It actually goes to a friend of mine. Her name is Crystal Hobbs. Her son participates in a archery program, and you probably know her as Pinky. At any rate, she is fantastic, and I just love how she's an advocate for autism moms and autism kids, and she's just phenomenal. So I thought it would be great if we could donate a portion of the proceeds of this specific stamp set to her favorite organization, and I will have all the information on the website. So this is the stamp set. We have Kids with Autism are angels with invisible wings. Sometimes even angels need help to spread their wings and fly. We have a bunch of sentiments, and this is a puzzle piece with an awareness ribbon on it, and we have the puzzle pieces in the awareness ribbon with wings, and there's a puzzle piece with wings. So that is the set. And now let's get started with the project. So this is a pretty simple project. It's really, the most time that it will take is the coloring part. That's really what ends up happening. So let's leave the project out here. Okay, so you can see that while we're making it. You will need your stamp block, you'll need your ink, you'll need your adhesive. We have some rhinestones that are currently blue that we will be coloring, and we'll be coloring them darker blue. You need your card back, you need your mats, and we need the piece of paper that you'll be stamping on. You need your Chameleon markers. We have the BL6, RD4, YL2, CG8, and CB, which is the color of the Splendor. Okay, so we have those. Put that right there. Whoopsie. They're flying all over the place. And then, of course, we have the stamp set. Okay, so these are all the things that you will need for this creation. Okay, so let's get started. So what I'm going to do first is I am going to put all this stuff aside. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to stamp our image. So I'll put this stuff on the side too. We don't need this right now either. So we just need this, 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 and the stamp set. I keep my stamps in an envelope. That way, sometimes if I haven't washed them recently, you can get some oil and things on your stamps, and sometimes that makes them not adhere to your block. All you need to do is use some warm water and soap and wash them up, and they're ready to go again. But just in case I haven't had time to do that and that happens, I keep them in envelopes, so I keep all the little pieces. In this set, there's not a bunch of little pieces, but some of our sets have a lot of little pieces, so I want to make sure that I don't lose them. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take off this stamp right here. The other thing I wanted to show you too that's new with our new stamp sets is right here we have acjwm.com. I put that in there as a stamp so that if you want to utilize the angel policy that we have in place, you can stamp that on the back of your card and you are ready to go. There is no problem. It's just basically giving credit to us for the image so that people know where to go. So that's all it is. Anyway, let's get this going. We're going to take this right here, pull it off, set it aside. Now I am going to take this right here. Here's the ink. I'm going to take off that lid and we're going to just pat the ink. I tend to do it a few times just to make sure that I've got the ink proper. Okay. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to put this little image right here, a little bit to the right. And that's it. And there is your image. Okay? Came out great. So we're going to set the stamp and everything aside. I'll clean those off and worry about that a little bit later. Save some time. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take out the paper here. And we're going to take out the adhesive. We're just going to take our yellow paper and adhere it to the front of the red. Okay, and we're just going to gently place it on like this and just center it. Okay. Well, I'm going to move that up just a little bit. This type of adhesive you can actually remove for a time before you before it actually sets permanent. Okay, so that is your spot right there. I'm going to take the card out and then I'm going to put some adhesive on the back of the red and then we're going to place this right on the back of there. So we are all set and we're going to put it a little bit off to the side like I have the other one. Okay, just do that. Okay, so that card is ready. That's the card base. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out my Chameleon markers. If you haven't seen these before, these are alcohol-based markers. We sell them. Check out our website. We have a really great price that includes shipping. These are basically like Copic markers or any of the other alcohol markers out there. The difference is that it's like a one-stop shop pen. You have your coloring area here and you have your blending solution here, and basically you have the two nibs together to get that blending solution touching, and then it starts off really thin, really light, and then as the blending solution is used, the actual color tone comes out, and that's how you get the different gradient colors. Okay, you could also blend them just like you would with Copic or any other markers too. So I'm just going to show you how I did this. I used them as regular markers just because I love these markers and I use them often, and that's what I did. So we're going to start off with the lightest color. That's what we like to do first, because if you make any mistakes, it's easier to fix any of the lighter colors versus starting with a dark color and going backwards. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my CG8 and I'm going to use the bullet nib. This is the bullet nib. Okay, I'm going to take off the cap. If I can get it off, my hands are slippery. Okay, it's really not that hard. I just have lotion on my hands. I didn't think you wanted to see my wrinkly hands, so I put a little lotion on. So what we're going to do is we're going to take this little cap here and it's going to snap right in, and then you're going to see here where the two nibs meet. You're going to hold it upright so that the blending solution naturally goes down onto the gray, and you do it for about 10 seconds. And then once you do that, we're going to color the angel wings. I didn't want them plain white. I wanted to show a little bit of depth, but not a whole bunch of color, because I wanted to show that the wings and the angel were actually white, but not obviously exactly white, because white isn't necessarily white per se. So we're going to take that off. See how light that nib is right there? You can see it? See how the difference is? So that's what we're going to be using. We're going to start from the inside and we're going to work the way out. So we're just going to lightly. And this is not a perfect science by any means. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit more gray on this side, just a little, just to give a little bit more depth. And that's it. That's all I'm going to do. That's just going to give it a little bit of depth, and it's going to show that it's the wings and the feathers for the wings, and we're all set. So that's that part. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the yellow, which is YL2, also going to take the bullet nib, I'm going to pull that right off, and we're going to color it in. I already set up this. I might change it up a little bit, but trying to get a little bit of variation with the yellows and the blues, okay? So we're just going to quickly just color here. I'm going to color a little bit there, maybe a little bit here, and let's see, do a little bit there. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means, but at least you want to make sure that you're trying to be consistent with the colors, okay? And I'm using red, blue, and yellow, because those are typically the colors that are used for autism and the autism spectrum disorder, also known as ASD. Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of yellow right here. I like that. Okay. And then I think I'm actually going to color this one yellow too. All right. So like I said, as you can see, it's not a perfect science. I didn't, make absolutely sure I did certain things perfectly. You just try to get the colors and try to make sure that it's not overlapping or there's a little bit of a difference one way or the other. Let's do that. And let's see, we'll do a little bit there. And I think that's good. We might have to go back and use the yellow, but that's okay. So now we're going to do the red. Again, the bullet nib. So we're going to do the red here. And let's see. We'll do the red here. And here. And like I said, I'm not doing any of the dimension per se by using the alcohol blending solution. I'm just using it as a marker right now, and it is really smooth, and I love the way they are used. I'm sorry, the way I can use them as regular markers. I really enjoy the way that they come out and how clean the color is and how bright it is. It's really, really quite amazing. Okay. And then we'll add a little bit of red here, and then a little bit of red here, and there. Okay, and now we'll get the blue out. All right, so we're going to do the blue, and the blue is the BL6. Now remember, I also have a blog post, so you'll be able to see all the directions step by step on there. If you are a person that likes videos, obviously you're watching this. If you're a person that likes to have a pictorial, we have that as well, so we got you covered. Okay, so just color this in. I'm just doing it really quickly and as best I can without doing it perfect, because otherwise I would take a lot longer, trust me. I don't know about you, but I tend to take a little bit too long sometimes just to make sure I've got it right. And that's the perfectionist in me, but we try, right? So let's see, almost done. And you can use colored pencils, you could use regular markers, you can have your child help you out with this in coloring. There's a whole bunch of different things you can do. You can use watercolors. There's a number of ways you can color this area in, and I chose to use the Chameleon markers because, truthfully, I love them, and I try to use them as often as I can because there's 22 in the set, and really, They're really easy to travel with, and it works out really well. So now what I'm going to do is I look at this here and I see that there's not a whole bunch of gray, but I kind of like the way that it's not obviously white. You'll see the difference when you get the card put together, okay? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take that stamp that I used off. I'm going to replace it on here for now, on the sheet that it came on. I'll wash it later. And then here, I'm going to use thank you. So I'm going to pull the thank you off. And I'm going to put that back. We're going to use the block that I have over here. And we're just going to place it right there. And we're going to take out the ink. And we don't need these anymore. We can put this out and leave the blue one out. Okay? So we'll leave that there. We'll pull out the ink here. And we're just going to ink the thank you, the word thank you. And we're going to put thank you right there. Okay? Came out really well. I'm going to close those up. And again, like I said, I'll clean those off later. I usually use warm soap and water. You can also use baby wipes. Just make sure that it doesn't have any alcohol in it. Otherwise, it can dry out your stamps. And now what we're going to do is we're going to take out the rhinestones and color them. So let's set this part aside for now. Now these here are blue. Well, here, let me show you the difference. These are how they came out. This is what I started with, this blue, okay? And this is what I made them into so that they could match my design, okay? So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take this right here, and I'm going to take the BL6, which matches our design that we did, and I only need 3 of them, so I'm just going to color in 3. And this is just simply how easy it is. It's really just that simple. Now if you want to make it a little bit darker, you could do another layer of it and like wait a little bit and let it dry, and then you can do another layer of the blue. But this is a perfect blue. I think it looks great. And it worked out fantastically, so that's what I'm going to do here. Just maybe a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to close that marker up. That's how easy it is to color your own embellishments here. I have a video on how to do this, but I think you've pretty much learned what you need to do. And this works with any alcohol marker. Okay, so let's put that aside. And I am going to actually take out my scissors and just trim that little part right off. So I just have what I need. And let's take out this part here. So now we have our card. We're going to take out the rhinestones we just colored. I'm going to pull it off. Okay. And then we're going to place it right on our design where we'd like it. And I often ask is really what I meant to say, but sometimes I'm talking backwards. I often ask my kids what they think, or maybe their input on some of the designs that I make, so that they can give me their feedback. And I actually asked Christian what he thought about this here, and he thought that we should put some rhinestones on it and add a little blue to it, and that's exactly what I did, and I think it came out great. So I'm going to add a little bit of the adhesive to the back of this. Okay. And we're going to just move it over just like the example. And then push it down. And we are all set. So now we have our cards that we created. And it's perfect for you to be able to give to someone that was generous enough to maybe donate for the Autism Walk. Autism Month is in April, and it is very important that people are educated about autism, and it's also important that people try to raise funds and awareness so that we can try to get more help for those that are in need, and also be able to celebrate the wonderful kids that have autism and how unbelievably brilliant and fantastic and what major strides and accomplishments that they have and have done. And I am just totally honored to be able to have this stamp set and be able to try to raise some funds for a great cause. So thank you so much for joining us. Please be sure to check back on our blog, and also we'll be on Instagram, and I want to make sure that you check it out. We have some great things going on this week. It is going to be busy, busy, busy. So thank you for joining us. Check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to our blog at www.acreativejourneywithmelissa.com or www.acjwm.com. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Bye-bye.